Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Hearthstone. My name is Rooster. It still is, definitely. And we are playing what can be classified as a combination between Deathrattle Rogue and Miracle Rogue, which is definitely an interesting proposition, and I'm not sure how it works out, but for some people it definitely has. This is no newcomer to the Hearthstone matter, but yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect about this deck, but what I do know is that I want to improve my skills as a rogue player, and this deck seemed like an excellent excuse to do exactly that. So let's see. Do we even keep Tomb Pillager? That doesn't seem awful. I mean, we can keep Eviscerate against something big. We have SI7 as a decent tempo play. What are we looking for in our mulligan? If not, well, I guess it might be a little slow. But we could get Journey Below, we could get, I guess, Undercity Huckster. But for a slightly expensive card, I don't think Tomb Pillager is too awesome. Let's just keep it for now. And see how we deal with what's coming. Because I'm not quite sure whether that's the correct call by any means, but we can at least see what we're up against and then make a more informed decision. For now, my bet is going to be Ramp Druid, but a lot of Druids run that card, so that's not really saying too much. Probably still reasonable to dagger up here. Does give us the extra damage that we might need to deal with Innervate Emperor, for example. How do I feel about that card? I'm reasonably okay with that card, if not for the fact that it's actually a little awkward to play to deal with right now. Because we can't really combo our SI7 agents without expending a coin, but I suppose expending a coin is fine since we already have a prep in hand. I guess I'm okay with that. And it does get a thing out on the board, so it's not that unreasonable. I was contemplating whether I wanted to save the coin for the auctioneer later, and that might have been a real thing. Well, another one of those? Well, I have another one of these. Oh, that's also a decent answer. I prefer that one. And I'll take another one to the face, why not? Because this seems entirely okay with me. Yes, and then we get to play a Tomb Pillager, so we get the coin back. That's pretty sweet, isn't it? Then next turn we can Earthen Ring and Eviscerate, possibly. We'll have to see how this works. How do I feel about that one? We may have to prep... Oh, that's... Yeah, I'll take that, sure. That seems pretty good to me, and then we can actually deal with it properly next turn. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And we deal some pretty meaningful damage here, so that's also nice. And maybe just playing the same taunt again is not going to cut it for him. That one is a little annoying, I will admit. How about... double prep. I can prep Eviscerate and then trade one of the 3/3s in, and then trade the Tomb Pillager in and hope to get something better. I can at least play the Auctioneer, right? And I can always get rid of these guys. So I'm pretty sure this is always happening. Right? Right. And I'm pretty sure coin is always happening. And then I'm hoping to get something decent with these two preps, so I can deal with this the proper way instead of... Oh, that's good enough. That is definitely good enough. I will definitely preparation that. Oh, Shadow Strike could have been really good. If only I didn't. Well, do I still have a? I still have a mana, so might as well cycle that. Oh, please don't rope here. What do I? Yes, Sylvanas, please. Thank you. That's a handful of cards all of a sudden. I like that. And still an auctioneer on the table. That's not awful. That is definitely not awful. And an inefficient turn from our opponent is also good news. Sylvanas will offer protection from a possible Cthulhu play, so I like that a lot. How about we Azure Drake? We can't Azure Drake into Shadow Strike, unfortunately. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. If I play Azure Drake, he just kills it. Am I okay with that? Wait, can I? No, I can't set up lethal for next turn. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be Azure Drake under City Huckster, and then we just see how we deal with that thing next turn. Or do I really want to Shadow Strike it right now? I can Shadow Strike and then SI, but that doesn't get rid of it. It does bring it down to 3 health, so I can kill it with the SI. But my board is going to be rather weak, and the thing doesn't have taunt, so I don't have to deal with it this way. I think this is still fine.
Hey, lights out, okay?
The cards you're drawing with the auctioneer are usually pretty expensive, which is a little annoying at times. So you can't use it to infinitely cycle stuff like you would do in a normal Miracle Rogue deck. But this should still suffice, I would say. So we can Shadow Strike this guy. That's always happening, right? Yes. And I guess that means we trade in the Huckster and see what we get. Oh. Well, that can be useful. At a later point, of course. How about... We have 5 mana left. That's a little inconvenient. I could kill this thing... Do I really want to kill that thing now? I could... How about I can't Fan of Knives into SI7 Agent. That's kind of the problem here. Do we just go face? I think we just go face and let him trade into stuff. We don't have the greatest play ever. Let's discover a card. Several seems pretty good. Play this thing and go face. He doesn't exactly know what kind of burst we have in our deck. He doesn't know we don't have a lot. Killing the 4/4 is a little... I should have played Cyril instead of the 4/4, definitely. Yeah, that was most certainly a mistake. But if he gets a taunt and feels safe behind that, then that's not going to end well for him. Let's see what we can do about this still. Sylvanas is going to be pretty good here. Although he might just trade in and then play Cthulhu next turn. That's going to be quite bad for us. At least we can kill the Azure Drake with a Shadow Strike and then play Sylvanas. And he has to trade in both and then play Cthulhu, and then we naturalize Cthulhu, and we're pretty happy about the situation, right? How big is Cthulhu, though? Yeah, that's kind of a problem. That is actually kind of a problem. He's played a lot of those things. So how do we kill him? How do we kill him fast enough? I don't think there's really another way besides this. But if he... I don't know. He can't hit face and then play Cthulhu, because then I steal Cthulhu halfway through and then I kill him. So I wonder whether he knows about that interaction. And if he kills Sylvanas, then I can just N'Zoth pretty easily next turn, I think. I guess that's a pretty easy N'Zoth here. Although... yeah, I don't feel safe with any other play, I think. I could Tomb Pillager... 2 pillagers, 0 dagger up. That's not that great. I really wish I would have played Zero instead of the other thing. But Zoth will have to do here. I get a Sylvanas, I get a Toon Pillager, I get a Huckster. That's still a fine deal. Oh, and I get the Squid Face. Okay, yeah, that's pretty neat. That should pretty much eliminate any chance he has of lethal, while also making it really hard for him to claw back here. See what I did there? Claw? Haha. Okay, that wasn't funny. That is still the biggest threat on my board, so I would agree. And he can kill that with me having no dagger out, so I will also have to agree about that one. And then double Disciple? Let's see, does that still kill him? That does still kill him, right? Yes. Well, that's just too easy.
Let none survive. So many wonderful.
There we go.
Well played.
Alright, well, he didn't draw Cthulhu, but I don't think there was a great opportunity for him to even play it in the first place. So I think we did pretty well that game. I don't feel too bad about that. We got a pretty good auctioneer turn, and that made a lot of difference, I feel. I'm actually surprised at how effective auctioneer still is if you eliminate quite a number of the usual Miracle Rogue cards. We did have to double prep and 1 coin. And Journey Below is actually not unheard of in normal Miracle Rogue lists, so I guess that kind of works. So again on the draw, keeping Tomb Pillager is fine. Keeping Shadow Strike, I guess it's a way to deal with a Van Cleef that's way too big. But isn't this a little? I think that's a little clunky in the early game. You don't want to use that against a 3/3, I think. So this should be better.
The pleasure is mine.
We definitely didn't make the best use of our Squid Faces in that last game. It was basically just a 4/4 with Deathrattle do nothing. But that's okay. I'm not. Squid Face is replacing Zeril in my deck list. I'm not convinced that that isn't reasonable, but I already said hi, right? I was talking about that at some point during my last video, I think, and then I got kind of sidetracked and I forgot about the whole thing. But that's just what happens occasionally. So I don't think putting in a Squid Face is out of the question, and Zeril also isn't definitely isn't core in the usual Miracle Rogue deck. But it seems pretty sweet in this list, so I would definitely put in a Zeril if you have one to your availability. I think we just coin... Do we coin a Pillager? I think we just coin an SI and kill this, even though that kind of wastes a coin, so to say. We get a coin back from the Pillager, and at least we kill her minion, which is kind of important, I think. Because that means it's not hitting us in the face, and I prefer that situation over most other situations. I still think that animation's bugged. It is bugged, right? For how long has that been bugged? Because it kind of bugs me. Hoo hoo hoo! Yeah, so... I'm pretty sure we heal that. That has to be correct, right? She's shown an ability to deal with it, so I don't think that's out of the question. I probably shouldn't have attacked face there, let's be honest, but Seems pretty likely that I'll have the option to hero power in the coming few turns, so that's not awful. We could also cycle the Fan of Knives here, but then we don't have much else to do. So it's either going to be Dagger up and heal again, I guess. I'm not terribly enthusiastic about that, but can we combo an SI? Not really. We can eviscerate that actually. We can heal and then eviscerate. How's that? Or we could just Shadow Strike and then do nothing. I don't like that. Let's just Dagger up, heal our face.
Here we go.
Hey, lights out.
And kill the minions. That is actually kind of important. You gotta keep your opponent's board clear. Especially Azure Drakes. Azure Drakes are dangerous. If she would play Thelmos and Thelmos into Fan of Knives there, that things could have ended really badly for us. That is a conceal though. We don't have a great answer to that right now. We do have 6-7 damage on the board. But we're not going to translate that into lethal at any point in the nearby future, I'm afraid. We have another... If we can... Assuming we can combo, that's another 6 damage in hand. So we would be setting up for lethal next turn. I think that's not out of the question. Could also Squid Phase and Dagger up. I don't hate that. We don't have an Auctioneer, so the coin is not going to be worth too much for us. And it's likely to translate into more damage than the Tomb Pillager, I think. Not a whole lot that a rogue can do about her opponent's weapon, I think. Because Harrison is a really niche card for rogue, I think. Rogue isn't really interested in what the opponent's doing. Except if they play taunt or if they heal, but that's mostly it. If you're hoping to conceal that again, then she's learned a few tricks. Now let's see if you can deal with our board here, because if you don't, then I'm afraid I have some bad news. Actually, do we? Well, I can Shadow Strike my own Squid Face, actually. So if I would do that and our current board survives, that means we deal 7. Then we can Shadow Strike and eviscerate. That would be lethal. Yes, it would. Can we still do that with the SI? We can't fit all of that into one turn, unfortunately. And with the Squid Face sapped, I don't think we're going to have that work at all. So question is, we have 4 damage, we have another 6 in hand, potentially, so that's not going to work for us here. In that case, I think we just do whatever we can to put as much damage on the field as possible, right? So that's going to still involve the Squid Face, I think. Maybe... Yeah, she would have set the Tomb Pillager, so that doesn't matter. Maybe we SI7 phase. I get the feeling we're dead here, and all this thinking is not going to do us any good. But it can't hurt to think this through. I think this is going to be simply best, right? It's important to get the damage in. So that's going to be our best option, I feel. We don't really care about the second weapon charge because we're not going to need it, and in this way Eviscerate is going to be lethal with whatever we're going to cast. And it's not a given that we're dead here. She still has to deal 26, that means 11, 12, so she has to deal 14 damage from hand here. That is a lot. That is still a lot. But if she does manage to eliminate all of this, can we Squid Face and then Shadow Strike it? Then we don't have a mana to eviscerate still. So we still don't have lethal? Is that true? That seems ridiculous. That seems utterly ridiculous, but I think it's true. We can, however, clear her board right now, so that should still be good enough, right? We can Shadow Strike, Eviscerate. Can we Shadow Strike? We don't have Thelmos, so we can't really Fan of Knives here. Definitely going to have to play at least 2 Shadow Strikes, I think. Shadow Strike, Evis, and leave the blood. Oh, we can face tank the Blood Mage. That's probably okay. Can we seriously not kill our hair? No. No, we seriously can't. Unless we top deck something with the Azure Drake, but that might mean we're dead if we don't. So that seems really bad. Okay, let's just do it. I'm not gonna be happy about it, but it's what we have to do right now. It's she would need a Leroy Cold Blood whatever to survive still. Well, we still don't have her dead next turn, but we do have quite a decent hand. So that's going to be something. But next turn we have to Azure Drake Tomb Pillager, I guess. And she has to deal with every minion we play from this point onwards, because she's used both of her saps. So she has to put a threat on the board, as well as deal with whatever minion we play. It's not going to be easy for her, I think.
So many wonderful.
However, kind of the same thing applies to us, because we can't really leave her with minions on the field either. So it's going to be kind of the same thing. We can Azure Drake into Fan of Knives, which is not awful. Would still leave the Azure Drake up, but there's not much we can do about it. We can also... Can we just threaten lethal and hope she doesn't have 9 damage in hand? That seems a little optimistic, especially with both of the Zeril toxins. So it still seems like a weak play, but it might be what we have to go with. Let's see what we draw with the Azure Drake, though. That still doesn't do it, right? We're 1 damage off lethal. 1 freaking damage off lethal. So... We can't deal with both minions, so I guess we just have to do this.
Job done.
Yep, that's gonna suck. 1 damage off. If we attacked face instead of the Thelmos, we could have won this turn. But we didn't know the Eviscerate was coming.
Well played.
Well, we were awfully close there, so won't blame myself too much for that. But there's probably a point in which I could have squeezed in 1 additional face damage. There probably was a point, and if at any point I had just 1 mana or 1 damage more, then I could have won that game. I would really have to investigate that game to know whether that's correct. Perhaps in the mirror this is not the greatest match, because we are kind of lacking in some of the combo potential that Miracle Rogue has, or the insane burst potential that Bellicose Rogue has, because we're lacking a number of cheap spells that they do have, as in Sinister Strike or Shiv, or in the case of Miracle, that would be Conceal and Cold Blood.
You're back.
So yeah, not blaming myself too much there. I think Journey Below is keepable, because it's likely to get you either a Tomb Pillager or a Zeril, I guess, which are both fine 4-drops. And I don't think we can ever mulligan as I 7 away, even though we don't have a great... We didn't have a great way of comboing it. But this seems pretty nice still. Let's see what we can do. I don't mind a 2-drop, but I don't mind a 4-drop either. Just daggering on next turn? I think I'm okay with just daggering next turn. And in that case, do we take a Tomb Pillager or do we take a Zeril? I'm thinking we take a Tomb Pillager over Cyril. Yes.
The pleasure is mine.
Yes, I do think we take Tomb Pillager over Cyril. You would play a third Tomb Pillager over the first Cyril, I think. I'm not sure about that. That is unfortunate, but not entirely unexpected. Actually, I think we had a better than average chance of dealing with that. Can we afford to take 3 to the face once? I think we can. I'm going to be a little greedy here, but if I backstab this right now, then I don't have a way to combo SI7 next turn, which means that a possibly another 3-2 I can't deal with anymore.
It's getting hot in here.
And a 2-3 we can even... A 2-3 we can also deal with, so that's fine. So it's definitely going to be this for this turn.
This guy's tough.
And next turn we do have Tomb Pillager. We for turn 5. Well, it's probably a bit too early to look forward to that one. But there's still a possibility of 3+ hero power, which is also okay. Weapon kind of unfortunate, but Tomb Pillager is pretty good against a Hunter weapon here, unless he plays a freezing trap next. That would kinda suck. But we can't really play an Earthen Ring expecting our opponent to play a freezing trap, can we? So with the expectation that he plays Infested Wolf here, I think we are still okay with that. That we can hero power down, and that kill command I am entirely fine with. That is not a very good trade for him, I'd say. Okay, how big can we make this Van Cleave here? Not very big, unfortunately. And I doubt that's what we're gonna need anyway. I'm perfectly fine with healing up and redaggering. That's probably fine. We can make a big Van Cleave later. We basically expended no resources here. So we can still coin out a pretty big dude in a future turn. Let's see, next turn we would have 7 mana. He is killing that. We may have to sap the Rhino. We can still kill the Rhino, actually. That's also not bad. If we kill the Rhino and then coin, then we have a 6/6 Van Cleave. I guess that's okay. Is that better than... Yeah, we don't have anything we really want to eviscerate, and we kind of want to sap a high main instead of a thing like this. So that's still okay. Do I really need to coin? Well, otherwise it's only a 4/4, and that seems a bit underwhelming right now. I am willing to waste a coin here. Do we attack face? Yeah, I've regretted not attacking face a bit too often. I think the dagger is mostly going to go face from now on. So I'm okay with that. Let's see if he has a decent answer here. He could have a deadly shot. That card is really making its return here. We won this one, so I'm okay with that. No Houndmaster yet, that's also good. We might have to sap whatever he Houndmasters, but that's okay. No great plays here, though. We could eviscerate one of the minions. If he trades in, I think I'm still okay with that, though. I think I would still be okay if he trades in either main... if he trades in both, then I think I'm fine with that, yes.
Here we go. Here we go.
Could we please? Thank you, Valera. Yeah, I don't think we can play Auctioneer with no further assistance here. And we can't really set any beast unless it's either Houndmasters or... we can't... unless it's been targeted by a Houndmaster or it's a high main, basically. So if he Huntmasters this, then I'm absolutely fine with sapping it, and I could even play an Auctioneer along with that, although I would appreciate... we could draw a Preparation still, but it's not very likely. We haven't used any yet, though. There is no way we're not sapping that early.
I got the best deals anywhere.
We're just taking too much damage if we don't, so I guess this will have to do. That is not a preparation, unfortunately, but it is a way to deal with the Houndmaster next turn, so I guess that's fine. Not in the greatest position, unfortunately. So if he called the Wilds here, I think that's pretty much game over for us. That means he deals... Well, he's still likely to trade. And that is not a Call the Wild, so we might still have a chance. If we Nazoth, what have we played already? We have played a Tomb Pillager. And have we played a Huckster? We've played a... just a Tomb Pillager, really. Is that it? That seems ridiculous. Well, we're always playing this, right? So let's do that first. Oh, that's not horrible. It's not great either, though. We can't combine it with the Eviscerate right now. So it's not actually that great. We could use it to bring this down. I'm not feeling too great about that. Let's just discover something first. Do we want another Tomb Pillager, or I could really use a Sylvanas right now, I think. We're not going to play it this turn anyway, and next turn we can combine Sylvanas with double Eviscerate, which is not bad. I think I'm okay with that. Next question, do we Eviscerate this? I think we do.
Here we go.
I don't like it, but I think we do. It's just, it represents too much damage. We take 4, we take 9 from Call the Wild, and with that thing we would take, well, we would take more, that's for sure. Oh, that's also a lot of damage. That is a lot of... Oh, is that lethal? Please don't let that be lethal. No, it's not, but it's pretty damn close, and we don't have a taunt here, so I guess that's that. What could we possibly draw into here? There's no way we're killing him, right? We don't have a taunt. I guess we could do this. See what we get. Those cards are not going to help us.
Well played.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate. So... I wonder, is Hunter in general a bad matchup here? Or did I do something wrong? I will have to check on that. Perhaps this deck is entirely different from the Deathrattle Rogue, or from Miracle Rogue, of course. But sapping a high main seems like such a big thing that Hunters might have trouble catching back up. But I guess this deck does miss the kind of burst that you would need to really punish Hunters for if they are unable to clear your board. And I guess that's what's missing from this deck here. So that might make the matchup a little worse. Do we keep Fan against Shaman? I don't think so. I think we need something better than that. Mostly 3/3s, actually. I think the thing you want most against Shamans is 3/3s. Perhaps I should have kept Sap for a possible Flame Wreath face us. That is possible.
The pleasure is mine.
At least he didn't play anything on turn 1, so that's good for us. But Totem Golem, not too happy to see that. Let's think. We could journey below into Coin Eviscerate, but then we have nothing to combo our SI7 agent with. We could just Blood Mage to draw. Not the biggest fan of that either. We could coin an SI, and then at least if he trades... Yeah, I guess that's okay. I'm not too happy about the situation, but it's probably what we have to deal with it. So... Better use the tools we're given, right? So that used the coin, but I still have a Journey Below to combo with for the Eviscerate. Oh, well, I guess... Yeah. At first I thought like that was going to be really bad for me, but then... then something happened. What do I want to see here? I don't know. I guess I'll just let it hit me once. The city seems good. At least I can play something this turn, and I like that. Do I take that over Zerol? Do I have something to do next turn? I think I'll have plenty to do next turn. So let's take the Huckster.
You want to buy a funnel cake?
I'm okay with that. I didn't have anything to do except dagger up, which is not awful, mind you, but I think the Huckster here does challenge the board enough that I like it over the Zerol, which is a little slow here.
Buy one!
So let's trade and see what we get. Oh, that is not a bad card. So we are facing a little bit more of a slower Shaman. That is, oh wait, we just get a random Shaman card, of course. I'm confusing this with the Priest card. I'm confusing it with the Priest card that lets you draw from your opponent's deck, but that's not the case right now. So unless he has Flame Tongue, then we get to trade the other Huckster into the 3-2, which is pretty great. He could taunt up, of course. Might be... yeah, that's a taunt, alright. But we can Blood Mage Eviscerate that, which I particularly like. Or we could Blood Mage Fan of Knives, which doesn't really help us right now. So we float 1 mana, that's going to be unfortunate, but it's going to be so much better than anything else we can do right now. Is that correct? Well, I guess we could Fan of Knives and then Eviscerate. That would allow us to clear the entire board instead of having a 1-1 left, right? Yes. So let's Fan into Eviscerate this. And then we don't have to use the Thalmos, that's also pretty good. So we trade this, we get another card, and then we're up a lot of cards all of a sudden. We're down 9 lives, but we're up 4 cards, and then a little bit of tempo, of course. But the Sap might solve that a little bit. He might just go face with the Feral Spirits, though, so we may not be out of the woods yet. But I'll admit this isn't looking too bad for us. We can heal and then make a 4-4 Edwin. How's that? That's probably the best we can do, considering this board here. So I'm okay with that. Yes. I guess what this deck tries to mostly do is fix the early game of the Deathrattle Rogue, which isn't all that awesome. I guess Shamans might be a real problem, because if we're out of Fan of Knives, then we will have a rough time dealing with this board. I kind of like the Blood Mage here, to be honest. So this always happens, right? We don't sap Feral Spirits. We definitely don't sap Feral Spirits. And Blood Mage is actually doing a nice job in contesting this board, I feel. And this also lets us take down a totem, I guess? Or lets us take down the Divine Shielded Minion. Which one do I care more about? I care about him not drawing a town totem, I guess. So I guess I kill the totems. Yeah, he's used the Primal Fusion already. So that means he's more of a totem-focused deck, which means I should probably be focusing on taking down his totems. There could be a Thunderblood Valiant coming out. That's pretty... Oh, well, at least he didn't get what he needed there. Which is 3 damage on the SI, so that's okay. And now we can start working on the board again. Do I want to heal for 2? I think he'll heal for 2. I don't have that many damage spells in my deck, and Hellish Heal seems fine here. It's not awesome, but it contests the board at least. It's a better idea than Earthen Ring and Redaggering or something. Sure. Sure, I'll take that. I'll take whatever I can get. Preparation's not a horrible draw, so sure. Sure, I'll take whatever I can get.
Did you bring some
Alright, toss card to Temic. And he's going to fill the board again. Now, how will we deal with it this time? We have a Flame Tongue Totem, which is not terrible. What else do we do besides Flame Tongue Totem, though? We kind of want to save the sap for something more meaningful. We could Preparation and hope to draw a decent spell, and otherwise we sap the Totem Golem. How's that?
So many options.
Sure. Sure, it gives him something he has to deal with, and it lets us cycle the preparations, which is kind of important, actually. Alright, now we don't have to use... Sure, I will still sap this. Just because it gives us more board presence, I will now backstab this. Just to cycle, because we don't have a great... I'll cycle that one. Oh, and that's much better than Neggering. We'll take... Sylvanas, sure.
You want to buy a funnel cake?
Yeah, that was definitely okay. I didn't even have to use the Flame Tongue Totem, which makes me happy. And I get to preserve the frog, which is not irrelevant. There's a bunch of Totem Golems coming out here, but we should be able to deal with that, especially with the Flame Tongue Totem. Or perhaps not, I guess. Oh, Eviscerate is nice, though. Don't mind that too much. Is there some way we can preserve? No, I don't think so. But we can Eviscerate one, and that's still fine. Let's see what we get first. Oh, I like that card. I like that card a lot. So this also always happens, right? And then we get to play this. I'm pretty sure, right? Or we just win. Alright. I don't mind. I don't mind if you concede this one. That was a fun game. Deck is running better than expected, but needs some work in the Hunter matchup, I think. Either on my side or on the deck building side, perhaps the substitution of Southsea Squidface for Zeril matters a lot, or perhaps you could customize the deck some more. Did I make any other substitutions? I don't think so. This is pretty much a stock deck list from... I'm sorry, I really don't remember. No, I'm really sorry, guys. But I'm sure you'll find it splattered all over Reddit in no time, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. In each case, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any suggestions on what deck you would like to see me play, please leave a comment below. And I will see you again tomorrow.